Welcome to the closing plenary. We hope you've had a good week, and we hope that we've been able to demonstrate that we've been getting closer to users during the programme this week. As always, we have our closing plenary programme, which will wrap up and conclude the week that we've just had. And to do that, I would like to hand over to Richard Kelly, who's going to start proceedings. So Richard, over to you.
Thanks, Aidan. Yes, and hello everybody, and welcome to this closing summary. So we're going to focus on the activities that are taking place within the Solutions and Standards programme. We'll be hearing from each of the room leaders to tell us a little bit more about what activities have been during this week and what their aspirations are for the future. So I hope you've enjoyed the week. I certainly have. It's been a nice, relaxing, but very engaging summit. I started the week actually by sharing this image, which demonstrates how buildingSMART International is responding to very big challenges. So on the left-hand side at the top is an aspiration to enable the achievement of connected data environments across entire asset portfolios throughout supply chains and for the whole life of those assets. The layered approach of our processes and our governance enables this international community to collaborate effectively to achieve their goals. And we have sub-programs or rooms within the Solutions and Standards programme, which, as I say, we're going to hear from and which you've been hearing from all week. These rooms oversee the projects, which is the bottom layer there, that respond to specific use cases. And on the right-hand side of this diagram are the methods by which we are responding to the requirements on the left, with an aspiration to have a much better connected world in the future for better living spaces, better infrastructure, better working spaces. And you'll see, and you'll have heard, no doubt, throughout the week, that there's now a big emphasis on providing user guides from buildingSMART International to enable people to get the full benefit of working from the standards that we're providing. The layers that we are operating with look a little bit like this. At the top level, we have our strategic definition level. To give it a name, that's not an official name, it's just a way of describing it. And at that level of the buildingSMART community, we're providing white papers, thought leadership pieces from groups of people within the community. And we also have our strategic advisory council from our most senior members who advise the board. And then the next level might be a domain definition level description. And here we've got our room steering committees setting the plans for that domain and owning the vision and mission, the charters and the roadmap planning. And maybe we could describe the bottom layer here as the use case definition level. And this is where we have project committees that oversee the delivery of the projects responding to the needs that come from the roadmaps. And we also have our buildingSMART International Use Case Management Service now, which has been running for some time and which people are starting to use and starting to get the benefit from. So focusing on the room steering committees, as I say, the rooms steering committees exist. They're executive bodies made up of pro bono members of our community, and they are providing their time and their knowledge and their experience because they want their domain to be able to control their digital future. So they are establishing the digital requirements for their domain. As I said before, they're establishing the vision and the mission. In other words, they're writing the room charters, and they're conducting roadmap planning, which is a 3 to 4 year plan of what is required, the holistic requirements for that particular domain. And they also oversee the delivery of the projects through a series of governance levels called the Project Steering Committee. So I'm going to just very briefly take you through and show you who each of the room leaders are and the steering committees in those rooms are, because I think it is nice that you know who these leaders in our community are. And it helps you then to reach out to them through us if you wish, if you have any particular activity proposals that you might want to put forward from your requirements from your business. So we'll start with the Airport Room Steering Committee. This group of people is overseeing a project at the moment called Airport Entities Project, which is to uniquely define critical airport entities, types, properties, and quantities, in order to have create a clear digital workflows for the whole airport community. You can see there's a wide range of people in this room, and what they want to do is maximise the value throughout the whole life cycle of assets in the airport domain in order to harmonise the technology. The Building Room Steering Committee is leading several projects at the moment, including Facilities Management Open BIM, and that is leading or identifying requirements for an FM BIM protocol and connected data environment. They are about to publish 5 industry insight papers, a new term for buildingSMART, and these 5 papers dwell on 5 specific and expanded use cases, and they'll be well worth a read when we've published those. They also have a project on FM handover of equipment information, which is the handover of information from construction to operations, and 2 really nice projects, one on occupant movement analysis and one on fire safety. The construction room has been expanding the steering committee for the last 12 months and a little bit more, and their purpose is to advance site productivity and lower construction costs and improve construction safety through the use of Open BIM and the application of open data standards. Now, they have an activity proposal at the moment addressing the access to finance and scheduling measures through open digital data sharing. The infrastructure room is focused on the delivery and lifecycle management of roads, bridges, tunnels, ports and waterways, and associated geological features. In common with other rooms, it also has a big incentive to address the interoperability issue between BIM standards and GIS protocols. The major achievement of the infrastructure room, which we've been celebrating this week, is the completion of the IFC 4.3 standard in conjunction with the railway room. The product room is the development and provision of process templates, tools and functionality to enable the robust and efficient use of product data, which is relevant to third-party standards, classification systems and other forms of structured content for Open BIM. We're hoping to move forward in the production room with solutions for use cases that we have defined in a joint paper that we published with the GS1 standards body. We now have a representative from the partner organisation, Magda, who's representing GS1 in the room. The railway room's goal is a digital, mature railway industry across all stakeholders by using harmonised standards along the value chain. They have a new project following the successful completion of the IFC 4.3 standard. So they have a new project now, which is going to be focusing on enabling the use of IFC 4.3 in software solutions. And you'll hear more about that. Well, you've already heard some about that. You'll hear a little bit more very shortly. The regulatory room is helping project owners and regulatory authorities benefit from the use of Open BIM. So their vision is an automated regulatory process achieved by supporting gradual change in workflows from manual to automated to safeguard the legal perspective. 5 new members have just been elected to the room steering committee, so we congratulate them and welcome them into the community. And we have a brand new room which we launched this week, the Sustainability Energy Management Room. It's concentrating on enabling an efficient electrical network in buildings. Currently, we just have 2 member organisations that are involved, which is Schneider Electric and Siemens, and we will be inviting more shortly. They shared the vision of the room in their draft charter this week, and you'll get another summary of it again very soon. And finally, the technical room. This is the body that supports the development of the more fundamental aspects of Open BIM working. They have a suite of projects at the moment that's overseeing Open CDE standards. And I just want to finish with mentioning something that we haven't really dwelt on during this summit, in that we have a project underway at the moment to improve the software certification service review. This is something that will be owned by the technical director, by Liam von Berlo, and we have a project underway which is establishing what the needs analysis of the user community is, and then a scoping plan in order to develop an enhanced software certification model. So the plan looks something like this, in that in the first place, we're collecting the voice of the customer. In the second place, we're analysing the gap between what they require and what's currently on offer. And then we understand what is required to meet those requirements. And from that, a scope to provide an enhanced service. So that is it as far as a summary from me. I want to probably maybe talk a little bit more in between sessions to talk to the room leaders. But for now, I'm going to hand over to Aidan Rendek, who's provided a video presentation on this occasion. And he's going to tell us a little bit more about the airport room. So thank you.
My name is Aidan Mercer. I'm co-chairing the buildingSMART International Airport Room with my colleague, Mika Kostamo from Finland. I sit in San Francisco, California. The past year has been a very dynamic year for the airport room for many different reasons. We had an opportunity to summarize what happened at a detailed level in our latest session when we were identifying how we can update our roadmap moving forward. And this way we could take account of all of the things that were outstanding in the near past and all of the things that we would like to pursue in the near future. Our most important project is the IFC Airport project, which has made significant advancement since the last summit meeting. Our collaboration with the technical room continues to bring great and agile results. We are actively using the new buildingSMART data dictionary, and we're uploading definitions of airport-specific entities and their names to the new buildingSMART data dictionary. This way, we are able to create a full circle of not only collecting the information and the knowledge from around the world from our subject matter experts and all of our network, but we're also able to find a way to present this information in a way that is practically usable by project teams. We have discussed multiple other means and multiple other areas where airports are impacted, especially in the second year of COVID. These remain to be significant considerations because our industry is quite significantly and negatively impacted in economic sense and many other ways as well. For example, modularity is an important new factor. Responsiveness is an important consideration, and how we can use information from BIM and from Open BIM through different means and different platforms becomes a supportive consideration for decision makers at airports. We brought up several different areas of interest that our group is likely to pursue in the near future, including sustainability and the future of aviation, including electric flight and even space flight. These are areas which we can already think about now proactively and consider how we can collect information that relates to airport facilities and that can be organized in a way that supports airport planners and airport operators, airport decision-making staff and management. Our topics of interest continue to be interconnected in multiple different ways. Identifying, for example, unique naming that are specific to airports for BIM elements has a great impact on many other areas as well. We can share information this way more cohesively and more uniformly, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel of project-specific standards every single time our member airports start a new capital project. We started to collaborate with new members and new partners in the airport room. We have expanded the group, including the steering committee, and established an industry committee where we seek advice and input from a larger number of subject matter experts from all around the world. We also started to actively collaborate with the newly established US chapter airport room, which mirrors some of the work that we are doing at the international level. And we see a great amount of potential collaboration and mutually beneficial opportunities in our joint work in the near future as well. All in all, this past year have been very challenging for airports. However, we found that for numerous reasons, This was the time indeed, and will continue to be the time for innovation. This is the time to reconsider what airports can do moving forward into the future, how they can be more effective, more efficient, and how they can respond to certain changing scenarios that are new in our world ever since the pandemic started. We believe that airports are very important for buildingSMART in many different ways. Airports are like small cities, and many of the activities are representative to other groups and other building and facility types as well. Because of this, we are seeking active collaboration with other rooms within buildingSMART and other groups as well. For example, the digital twin discussions are focusing on airports in our group and in our room. However, we are actively seeking collaboration to a number of connected groups within buildingSMART and outside as well. This allows us to create a comprehensive picture of what is currently happening and how we can learn from all of the advancements in connected parallel worlds and parallel groups. I look forward to the next year, and until the next summit, I'm excited what our group is going to pursue and what the ideas will be that will percolate to the top. Thank you.
Yeah, so big aspirations for the airport room, and we're looking forward to working on those aspirations throughout the rest of the year. So I'm just hoping David Ivey is going to come onto the stage. So
well, I've got my presentation up, but
I could get a presentation. Will we be seeing you as well, Dave?
No, but I can talk through it.
You can talk. That's just as good. Yeah, that's
okay.
great.
All right.
So, David Ivey, building room chair. Take it away.
Yeah. Thanks, Richard. Yeah, just a quick recap, very quick, of the spring summit. Hopefully, spring is coming to a place near you here in. Here outside Chicago, it's struggling a little bit. We have a dusting of snow this morning, so not quite springy, but at least it'll be sunny today. Just a quick recap, of the three sessions that we had this year. BR1 was basically focused on our FM project updates. Basically FM handover and asset operations handover and FM and Open BIM. So we had Jeff Aninis and Fred Clote and Patrick Wallace kind of talk us through both of those projects, and let us know where they stand and how they're doing. And to me, this first session, I think all the sessions were great, but I think this is really an important time for FM handover and Open BIM just throughout the industry. So we're seeing it a lot here stateside, and I know it's already been kind of a big effort elsewhere around the world. So hopefully, we're entering the age of really starting to understand this stuff and properly move our data around the various points of a project and making sure that utilizing everything that we can on the back end of projects. Session 2, I gave a little update for some of the room activities, much like this. Gianluca gave us a rundown of the update and timetable for 2022 for the Spatial Zone project. We're still looking for calls for participation and sponsorship for our fire safety and engineering project that's in the room. And the BEM project update and activities are finalized by Mirbek and Jeffrey. And then finally, we closed with some Open BIM and energy performance for historical buildings, looking at the learning outcome framework for BIM in energy performance in Europe, the use of BIM for improving energy in existing buildings in our lifetime. And so Anna and Elena and Anna and Anne, they all went through these projects that are in various stages of progress. And we ended with building information management for energy renovation or BIM speed. So again, just three really, we didn't have a lot of sessions this year, but I thought that the sessions that we had were very well done and very informative. And if you have a chance, please do go back and view those. And I would end, I think, just with some of the themes as I saw them, just from listening to the project teams and their presentations, is a couple of important aspects that are true for the building room as well as really any room. calls for participation, really looking to get people who are industry experts or have vested interests in these projects to participate in them and be a part of helping make the solutions. And whether that's through interacting with the steering committees, giving feedback and interacting with other members through the forum, or reaching out and becoming a part of a steering committee. Or hopefully, the second part of this is really looking for sponsorship and support financially. I know that all rooms and all projects really, I don't want to say struggle, but it can be challenging to find funding and sponsorship. And so just kind of looking at some of the rooms and the funding that's in there. We have several projects, FM handover, the movement analysis, and the FM open BIM things, which are to a degree underfunded. And I think, as Richard mentioned at the beginning, a lot of us are helping kind of shepherd these projects through pro bono, but the projects still require some funding to be able to move forward and offset some of the costs of doing project work, hiring, whatever it might be, consultants or programmers and developers to help with these projects. So I think it's really important to kind of reiterate that sponsorship and funding and participation are really the keys to making any of our projects in any room successful and progress towards approval and implementation. So that's really all I had for our recap. Like I said, I didn't want to take a lot of time, just give you a flavor of that, and look forward to our fall summit, hopefully in person.
Nice. Thanks, David.
Yeah.
And thanks for re-emphasizing that call for sponsorship. You're right. We do need the funding in order to run our projects effectively. And that funding could be work-in-kind contribution, or it could be cash sponsorship. And we do have contracts in place with our suppliers to make sure the projects do run to time and to the right quality and follow the right formats that we have these days. Yeah. But some good things going on in the building room.
Yeah, it's an exciting time. I think we've got a lot of good momentum with good stuff.
I did note actually that we in the commentary during the week we had some new people from some significant organisations that were commenting on some of the building room work, and I've made a note and I've actually contacted and connected with at least one of those people.
Outstanding.
Yeah, so I'll be progressing that and then sharing it with the room steering committee if those organisations wish to progress further and show more commitment to the buildingSMART mission.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Fingers crossed indeed. Okay, thank you very much. I'm now going to bring on Ken Endo, who leads the construction room.
Hi.
Hi, Ken.
Hi.
It's very late at night for you, I know, so thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So let's start. Yeah. Hello, I'm Ken Endo, chairman of Construction Room. We still cannot enjoy traveling around the world and meeting with friends in BSI. But I hope you enjoyed the virtual summit sessions and brought back updated information on the BIM from the many prominent speakers all over the world. We, at Construction Room, had 6 presentations in this summit meeting, so I would like to introduce them briefly. All the presentations are recorded and you can see on the website of the summit homepage. Those are the presentations of construction rooms. In CR1, we had 3 presentations. The first session is the opening session by me, titled Welcome to the Construction Room. I introduced the activities of construction rooms and updated charter and roadmap. Construction room is the user-focused room. So we are facing many new technologies with BIM every day. What we want to do is basically solving problems in construction with BIM and many applied technologies. But the technologies are only tool for assisting us, but how to use them and create robust workflow is much more important. So our field is not limited in technology, but information management of construction is very important. To tackle them, we need simple tools and methodology. We are based on and set on the initial point, use case management, which is sharing vivid experience of site engineers and related persons. The second presenter is Konstantinos Kassandos from Zeppelin. He's a steering committee member of Construction Room, and he commits to use case management very deeply. Use case management is a new method to manage the variety of construction activities, and he explained the structure of the method logically and proposes importance of use case breakdown on construction sites. To achieve a common view on shared process on construction sites, it will enable faster digital collaboration on site and complete digital production chains. The third presenter of CR1 was Veliko Yannick from Bexel Consulting. He explained IFC and IDS for cost and schedule improvement. IFC cost and schedule domain currently status and ideas for improvement in the future. In last month, IFC 4.3 was issued and submitted to ISO for accreditation. IFC 4.3 had several improvements which can be used for cost and schedule management. The extension is not publicly recognized, but with his long-term experience developing Bexel Manager, he showed us the many examples and possibility for 4D and 5D BIM. Veliko had also raised activity proposal to BSI Standard Committee, and we formed the dedicated working group for it. Now, Construction Room tried to extend the IFC and standardize 4D and 5D schema under his leadership. 4D and 5D properties should be interoperable between BIM software and not only import and export the data, but also dynamically update data of schedule and cost by daily progress of the project. In CL2, Alexander Elik from Bexel presented intelligent creation of construction schedules, what-if optimization, and 4D and 5D analysis. As the series of 4D and 5D presentations of Construction Room, he demonstrates Bexel solution, which can create consistent workflow to contribute schedule and cost management. And he also presented integrated 4D 5D approach. It gives planners and estimators opportunity to assess feasibility of generated schedule through control of planned cost dynamics and extensive 4D 5D analytics. In CL3, Mileta from Bexel Consulting presented BIM progress monitoring and KPIs in a cloud-based environment. He introduced the automated BIM progress monitoring using open BIM collaboration. And he showed comparison of planned and actual, how they are reported, and analytics with the detailed multi-project KPI analysis through cloud-based portfolio manager and online viewer. In CR4, Yoshinobu Adachi from Kajima presented with title of IFC to Digital Twin Case Study, IFC Spatial Structure Mapping to Azure Digital Twins. In his presentation, he showed the trial to convert IFC spatial structure to building digital twin data on Microsoft Azure Digital Twin platform through BIM Sync IFC Model Server API. He explained the similarity of IFC and real estate core schema and succeeded to map IFC data to real estate core running on Azure. I believe it is the great step and familiarize to build asset data of IFC and real estate core. And what is more, the great step to open the new era of using IFC as a part of IoT and smart city. Those are our presentation delivered in construction room. Finally, let me introduce steering committee members of construction room. As I introduce each session, the topics we have were widespreading and have many variety. So to handle variety of technology and use cases and find right direction for activities of construction room, steering committee member hold online meeting every month. Now we have 6 members and we mainly discuss how to guide and suggest the activities of CL to local chapters in the world. Last 6 months, we mainly discussed the update charter document and roadmap of construction room and finalize the work. In the charter, we define the vision and the mission. There are our vision and the missions. First is advance the digitalization of construction. Second is incorporate forward-looking construction technology into the development of open BIM solution and standard. Third is to develop best practice of construction site management based on use case management system. And last, provide open BIM education to the industries. And the scope of construction room includes the following aspects: digitalization, open BIM education, document sharing and management, project information management, and the communication technology. And as I mentioned, we commit to 4D and 5D. And moreover, delay analysis, location-based planning and process monitoring, logistics and carbon footprint analysis is also under our targets. If we are trying to establish construction room in your local chapter, please let us know. We can help to create charter document and adapt your local activities. I want to thank too many supporters for construction room. I hope we can see live in Montreal, Canada in next summit meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. It's great to have so much activity going on in the construction room. It's been a lot of hard work that you and your colleagues at Kajima Corporation have been putting in for many years.
Yeah,
And it's nice
thank you
to
very
have
much.
nice to have the extra
Yeah,
learning.
really actually enjoy the activity and the
Yeah.
monthly meeting. Yeah, thank you very much for hosting and the facilitation.
Yeah, it's a very good team. Okay, Ken. Well, yes, as you say, very much looking forward to seeing you in Canada later this year.
Yeah, of course.
Can't come too soon.
Thank you very much.
All right. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Hello, Tiina.
Hi, Richard.
Hi. So you're going to give us an update on the infrastructure room activities.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm now seeing your slides. So you
Perfect.
You can begin. Thank you.
Okay, so good afternoon all, although it might not be afternoon in every possible place in the world. But my name is Tiina Perttula and I'm chair of the infra room. And this is just a short update what's going on in infra room and also about the activities we had during the virtual summit. Here you can see our structure, the infra room structure. So there is the steering committee, and on the right up corner there is the steering committee members and also the organizations where they are coming from, and kind of it's a nice variety of different backgrounds. So we do have the infra owners, we have the consultant, we have the contractors, we do have the software vendors, and we do have the kind of the university representatives also. So I think that the whole kind of ecosystem that is needed for digitalization of construction industry and especially infra is very well represented in our steering committee. We have the technical leader, which is Phil Jackson. So Phil was nominated to be our technical leader approximately 4 months ago. And then the deputy chair is Tim Bloom, and the project steering committee leader is Marek Czuchowski, or chair. And also in the project steering committee, there are also stakeholders and project managers involved to the project steering committee group. And then we have quite many projects that we have finalized in the past maybe 6 or 7 years. And they are, which are in orange, they are part of the IFC 4.3 release that was made kind of in the last autumn. And then we have now at the moment one currently running project, which is the tunnel project, and I will have a few slides about those active projects later in this presentation. But then about our roadmap. So we have modified this a little bit. So this IFC 4.3 deployment has been a huge work, what we have been focused on in the past 2 years, I should say so. So we finalized our domain-based project in the approximately in the beginning of 2020, and then in the end of 2021 we have we delivered the IFC 4.3, and we are still continue IFC 4.3 deployment with the MVD project. And also when we first created this roadmap in 2019. This was kind of 4 or almost 5 years roadmap, and now we are coming quite end to this first roadmap we created. So in the in this year, in autumn 2022, we need to revise the roadmap and continue it all the way to the next year. So 2023, we have some ideas what we are going to do. So IFC 4.3 is now delivered to the ISO process. So in the beginning of 2023, we will have a infra extension, IFC infra extension, part of the ISO standard. The tunnel is still running, as I mentioned, so it will be finalized in this year. And also we heard that there is still some current project, for example, in other rooms, and we need to look close kind of the future projects too. But in the autumn, we need to revise the roadmap once more, and then focused on what will happen to maybe till the 2025, and this is hopefully the work that we can present in the Montreal summit, or at least some of the first thoughts that what we are going to focus on the coming year. The industry communication, the kind of the lowest stream here, is very, very important for us, because it plays a main role maybe in this implementation period of the IFC 4.3. So the few coming years, I will say already by now that we are focusing very much to the implementation of IFC 4.3 to actually normal infrastructure projects. So in design project, in construction project, and of course, most important, to the handover to asset management. So the data transfer, data flow is maybe the focus area for us. And about the industry commitment, what we have been done in the past 6 months is this so-called roadmap workshops. They are also called the local roadmap workshops. So we are offering for different chapters the possibility to organize the workshop based on the IFC 4.3 release. So we want to introduce what kind of it enables in the near future, and also have the kind of the lowest level communication with the local industry players. We have held these workshops already in Germany and in Finland, and they are in local language. So it's something that we as an Infraroom steering committee, we can provide templates and etc. But the local chapter is very much needed in order to kind of organize the workshop itself. But in Germany, it was live workshop, and in Finland, it was virtual workshop. So kind of both ways have been tested so far. And what we have been discussed with the other chapters is that in discussion planning phase, there is a local workshop discussion going on in Italy, UK and Ireland, and Australasia. But this is opportunity for other chapters to host a local roadmap workshop. And if you see this interesting, please contact Jürgen Litz or John Proctor. You can find the contact information on the right side of this slide. And in Montreal Summit, we are planning to kind of give a new update from the workshop results, and then the revised Infraroom roadmap. So this is a kind of at least concrete steps for us as an Infraroom steering committee, where we should focus on the coming 6 months. Then a little bit about the IFC 4.3. So it was the infrastructure and the railway room together, and we have had a few presentations during the summit also with the IFC 4.3 next steps and next phases and so on. But in the kind of technical session, there was the model view definition for infrastructure expert panel. So this is currently ongoing work. I just go back to the next slide, previous slides after I have explained this through. But there is still a model view definition for infrastructure going on, the kind of the last work. So after we have finalized this, we have the better kind of process and how we move forward to the software certification. So it's kind of one crucial thing for us in order to be able to implement the IFC 4.3 extension. But in the 4.3 kind of what might have been I see that kind of really what made this whole project so beneficial in the very, very early stage is that there is a huge involvement of the whole ecosystem. So there is, of course, kind of strong stakeholders from the client organization, and they have been kind of actively participating on very many different kind of individual project, so bridge, road, rail, also the drainage is here, some ideas of the cost analysis too, and the ports and waterways. But together with this client organization, there has been a strong involvement from the software vendors and also from the consultant and the contractors. So kind of when the user stories was created, they were collected directly from the end users, so those who are going to do the actual planning or construction. So kind of in very early stage, those were collected quite intensive way in order to fulfill the needs for client organization and for the actual users. So this is very kind of well represented from different backgrounds, the whole IFC 4.3. But then the ongoing and future work, so what we are going to focus next. So the tunnel is still in progress, but it's due to complete this summer. And it might be released as IFC 4.4 or then update to 4.3. But it has been running few years now, and now it's very close to the finalization stage. Then about the possible future project, there is the asset management handover. It has been discussed under the building room, and kind of we have been noticing it that this could be something that can be done together between many rooms inside the buildingSMART International, and maybe some of the topics are more related to the infrastructures, but in the top level I'm certain that there will be some commonalities, and this handover to asset management has been recognized in our roadmap too, that it's very important to the stakeholders that we look closely this part of the whole data flow. So this is in the initial phase, I should say so, but definitely in our desk. Then next project that has been discussed almost, should I say, 3 to 4 years now is the IFC landscape and urban planning. The kind of drafts project proposal has done a few years ago already, but it's something that maybe it has been waited for first IFC extensions to be ready, and now it might be better timing for IFC landscaping project too. And then there has been in discussion also the ports and waterways second phase, and as you can see, it covers quite many different kind of topics, and this is just a kind of in the the stage is in the discussion stage. There has been a project proposal already created, but there is some topics definitely that are overlapping maybe with for example, the handover to asset management, for example, the process here, asset management, operation and maintenance. So some of these may be overlapping, and then we need to look closely that how to build up the future project so that they will serve the industry the best possible way. So because too large project might be a bit difficult to handle, but then too small, they might not cover enough. But we have already recognized the future needs, and this is now something that we need to work with these initiatives, and then of course call for funding, seek for funding for the project, because without funding we cannot have any running project. So this was already mentioned during this closing plenary. Thank you. This was a short overview of what's going on in infra room at the moment.
Thanks, Tiina. And there's an awful lot going on. The success and the completion of the IFC 4.3 is fantastic, but to see the roadmap looking ahead with what's going on, what's coming next is really good as well. I would say that we're really getting the benefit of the enhanced steering committee now, because for the last year we've had extra members from the community into the infrastructure room steering committee who are representing the industry, and they are, supporting you with getting those roadmap workshops happening in other parts of, well, in the other chapters. So we're really starting to capture the user requirements now. The last summit, we actually had 2 presentations from 2 of the other steering committee members representing Trafikverket in Sweden and the Finnish Transport Infrastructure Agency, and they're worth watching as well, talking about real applications of Open BIM on real projects. So it's all good, very good. And of course, there's your podcast as well.
Yeah.
We're listening to. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Tiina.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. So now introducing Michel Bohren from the product room. This is a recorded session from Michel.
A warm welcome to the audience. I hope you had a very interesting summit and you learned a lot for your daily business. I will make a short summary of the sessions of the product room. It was all about life cycle of built assets and its information. And we put it a little bit in a context of circular building and construction. My name is Michel Bohren. I'm the CEO of Swiss Research Center for Rationalization in Building and Civil Engineering. I'm holding the chair of Product Room Steering Committee. You'll find my contact details here, so if anybody has a question or they just want to give some input, please do not refer to get in contact with me. If you want to learn more about CRB, you can use LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, or our own homepage, crb.ch. These were the presenters during the summit representing the product room. So we had on the one hand Hans-Uli and Frederick. They talked about life cycle assessments of products and materials, and especially about the need and also the possibilities and options to manage this kind of information in the buildingSMART data dictionary. So how to publish it, how to provide it, and how to work with it. Hans-Uli represents Lignum, a Swiss association caring about building with timber, and Frederick represents buildingSMART International. Then we had Alexandra and Philip. They were talking about data and information management without any boundaries, so independent from systems but also from organizations. They presented a project from CRB that is running. It's about a standardized data model with content to manage specifications of products and materials and also work items during the whole life cycle of building or an object in building and construction. Alexandra and Philip are representing D1. D1 is a data management expert and specialist in data architecture, data modeling and so on, and is in a close partnership with CRB, supporting us really in the technology part that is quite complex and difficult. Then we had Magdalena. Magdalena was talking about the view of manufacturer on these issues of data information management over the whole process, the whole life cycle. Magdalena is representing Knauf, that is since a year very active in this area and gave us very good insight into the issues manufacturers have that want to become a partner in the building construction industry, want to be in very early and want to manage also to optimize solutions in building and constructions quite early with their know-how and their technology. Then we had Jörg. Jörg showed us how we could manage costs, managing different building with his reference numbers concerning costs, and also holding them in a standard data structure, comparing them with each other and managing the costs over several parameters of objects to get a good insight what are the drivers of costs and to be able to give very early in a project a good and reliable number for costs in a project. Jörg is also representing CRB and is responsible within CRB for cost management and cost structures. So what was common in all this presentation? So I think what is probably one of the most important part, also as a topic that we drive very hard currently in the product room, that it is more than geometry. So geometry in a 3D CAD system is not good enough. So all these aspects of life cycle assessments or managing really information, managing specification, managing cost and so on. So the CAD part, the geometry part is one part, of course important because it gives us all the numbers and the quantities. But it is not good enough if you take only the geometry and put perhaps some semantic information to the geometry, because in this way it will not be possible to manage really processes about all the materials and products. And that's specifically with using different IT systems for the different part of the processes and also the different organizations that are involved. So all these ideas of working with, at the beginning with generic specifications, and then based on these specifications searching for concrete materials and products that fit the specifications, or the materials and products are going into e-commerce. They're managing all the logistics off-site and on-site of a construction site, then all the processes in maintenance and all the processes of circularity will not be possible if you focus too much on geometry. It's only one part. So that is a focus we have in the product room. That is a focus that was in all of the sessions in this summit very important. And we think that it is really necessary that we start to open our view in these kind of processes. Because if you look at all the discussions in sustainability, especially circularity in building and construction, but also in products, then we really have to start to manage these processes and to look into this data information management issue. So if you have a product or a material, whatever, in a little box with all the information, it is important for you that you are able to track and trace this product. So in the first step, of course, it is important to find a product that fits your specification, because very usual is that you do a specification product independent. But in one phase of the process, you are interested which material and which products fit really the specification. And then you have to go through the whole process. So if you think in circularity, then it's not over if you build the product or the material into your object. You have to care about maintenance of an object, of a material, of a product. You have to think about reuse or redistribute of material and products. You have to think about refurbish, remanufacture of material and products. And then at the end of the day, you have to think about recycling, or at least and also a smart disposal of materials and products. This is only possible if you use semantic data. Geometry is not that important, and it is only possible if you really manage all the information and the data with a common standardized structure. Look at the data model presentation over the whole process, over the whole life cycle, and over all the trades within project in building and construction. So this is one of our main focus. So it's about the topic no waste in circularity. So it has different names. So if you talk about sustainability, you talk about ecology, they talk about sustainability itself, about life cycle assessment, about circularity. What is important is that at the end of the day, you have to use less material. Then if you use material, you have to assemble it in a way that is demountable. Then you have to care about reusing it. Then in best case, you use also renewable material, or in a second best case, you use recycled material, and then you have to dispose it smart. So it's about tracking and tracing of materials and products. There we have seen this view of manufacture on these kind of processes ideas, challenges we have. We have seen the view of a standardization organization that is working on a data model to manage this and content to manage this. And we have taken a look specifically on the aspect of life cycle assessment. That is one part of this overall process. And at the end of the day, we have taken a look on the costs and costs management within a project. That is, of course, also part of sustainability, and we can't leave it away. So it's all, in a way, also for a better world. So if you care about this, if you do our job and put the right standards in place, then it will be possible to make this tracking and tracing, and that will help, of course, then also to a better world. So many thanks paying attention in the sessions today, but especially in your daily life, in your daily business for a better world. Thank you very much. Have a good time. Goodbye.
Thank you, Michel. Nicely said. And it's good that we're having this portfolio of projects now that's appearing in the room that's going to be supporting the circularity aspiration. I want to introduce now Winfried Stix, who's going to talk to us about the railway room. This is another recording.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Winfried Stix, and I'm the chairman of the buildingSMART International Railway Room, and I welcome you to the closing plenary. I brought with me these 4 points from the Railway Room sessions, and they are mainly about celebrating the delivery of IFC 4.3 to ISO together with InfraRoom, a celebration of a kickoff from a new project applying IFC 4.3 for rail, the new railway room governance, and of course to celebrate all the contributors which are part of the success of the last 4 years. When we started in Beijing 2018, we have always this picture in mind. This is a life cycle of rail infrastructure, and it describes from the requirement to the design to the construction to maintaining things, and of course to operate all the infrastructure. And as you can see, it's not only about building new things; it's also about maintenance. And in the project, we had 11 storylines, and they tell the true story of the daily life of an infrastructure manager. And as a result, it is delivered here in a lot of reports from phase 1, the more requirement-focused reports and model-focused reports, up to the phase 2 deliverables, which are mainly focused on testing the standard with a couple of software vendors, which are also very, very important to this phase of the project. And this is the point where we are now, and I can recommend there is a final report executive summary. It's really nice to read, and it describes the cool stuff we have developed in the last 4 years with blood, sweat, and tears. So this is the process that was a constant and permanent companion over the last 4 years. And we went through all the stages you can imagine. And now we are on the top right side. We have delivered to ISO. So the ISO process is now going, and it's planned. The publication of the ISO standard is planned for February 2023. The only thing that makes me a little bit pensive is the timeline. Imagine when we worked really hard for 4 years on the production standard to achieve the production standard, and then it needs another year for printing an ISO standard. I don't know what you think, but I think that's too long. That's too long. In today's time, the processes needs to be faster, more agile, more flexible, so that we can achieve the goals of rail infrastructure managers regarding digitalization in a timely manner. So let's think about that maybe for the next time. Okay, what was the next point? The next point was a kickoff meeting. A kickoff meeting is always a positive thing, hopefully. We have worked a lot to achieve that kickoff meeting. The expectations of our stakeholders were very high. We have a really fat backlog. Here you can see the main points we should follow in the project. Of course, we should focus and we should monitor the ISO timeline to get the final stamp of IFC 4.3. We should also contribute to defining the general processes at BSI to approve the processes. We have a common platform between software vendors, stakeholders, and the technical service team. We should validate. We should develop processes and tools to validate use cases. We should develop validation rules for checking IFC files. The implementation of IFC-based use cases should be brought forward, and of course the communication and outreach, so to make the whole market aware of what the community and the community what we are doing here. In general, we have two goals in the project. It is on the one hand to establish a use case driven implementation validation process. So this is the process work, roughly said. And we have to conduct at least 2 prioritized use cases through the process with a minimum of 3 software vendors involved. So this is the content work. So, and that should bring the rail requirements, on the one hand, the rail requirements to the processes of buildingSMART. It should be reusable processes for further use cases, not only the 2 we say that we can go through. So it's a kind of guides and templates. And of course, we get one step one step nearer to the to functional rail software. So that's the proposal of this project. The project organization is like it was the last 4 years in principle. We are now embedded in the rail room organization. I come later on to it. We have the project steering committee with active contributors to the project. We have the PMO contracted here and technical experts, and of course the in-kind contribution of the stakeholders like the test and domain leaders are here mentioned. And of course software vendors. So these are the 3 important parties: technical experts, stakeholders, domain experts, software vendors. And in the project itself, we have 3 working groups. The project management on the left side, the process working group, where we define contribution to the general processes of buildingSMART, and of course of templates of tooling and so on. We have the requirements working group, where the use case management is allocated, and then we have the implementation. This is the implementers collaboration, bringing things together and to software. Yeah, this is the draft project plan with the major activities. As you see, the project is planned for 1 year, and this is a first scheduled estimation of the task plan, and the resource planning is still under construction. So we have promised that we will start in April the 12th with the first steering committee. So we need to refine the plan until there. Here, and the third point is the new railway room governance. So we have had several workshops with our stakeholders to develop how should the railway room function in future, and maybe you know that we have started in 2018 with the railway room as only one, as a room with only one project. So we said we do not need an additional layer of the room steering committee. We said, okay, this project steering committee is the same as the room steering committee. But this hinders us to be too open for new stakeholders, for ideas, for discussions, and so on, because we are very much focused on the project, and this has to change, I think. So that's why we have now this railway room organization with a separate room steering committee, with some roles like administrator coordinators, and with two main parts. The one part is the work of the railway room, and the other part is the work in the projects. So the work in the railway rooms will be driven by working groups here, like one to refine the charter of the railway room, to define the charter of the railway room, to have a new roadmap, to have maybe some strategic white papers, and of course communication and preparation of summits. And of course, what is very important for our stakeholders is to contribute to the improvement of the buildingSMART processes. And on the right side, you have seen this boxes before, is the software, the project part. And as I said, the very important thing is the collaboration out of the project, out of the room, from the software vendors, also with the coordination part here, to have a very efficient collaboration in the buildingSMART surrounding. The next thing what we do here is we have planned a steering committee meeting for the room steering committee meeting for 26th of May. We hope we can achieve that. And the last slide here is the call for participation. So join our team if you have ideas and questions and the power to enrich our team, maybe in the project or maybe in the railway room. So please contact us and come on board. And now, at the end of my presentation, let's celebrate all the contributors to the projects, to the endless discussions in the rooms, and let's celebrate. We have done a big job. We have brought everything what we have wanted to the ISO, and now it's a point on the ISO to deliver in February 2023, and yeah, I'm looking very much forward to have the projects done here, and yeah, let's see what we can do in future. Thank you very much, and thank you also for this amazing virtual summit, and yeah, have a nice time and stay safe. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you, Winfried. Nicely said. And yes, a big achievement indeed, completing the IFC 4.3 in collaboration with the infrastructure room. I'm now going to welcome Nick Nisbet, who is the leader of the regulatory room, who's going to tell us a bit more about what they've been doing. This is another recording.
Thank you for this opportunity to update you on the activities of the Regulatory Room at the buildingSMART International Virtual Summit Spring 2022. The Regulatory Room is committed to the development of open standards to support regulations, requirements, and recommendations. So whether they're coming from government, from client bodies, or from third parties. At the summit, we had 3 sessions, an introductory session, a project workshop, and an update on global activity. The first session was an introduction to the Regulatory Room. We were able to announce 5 new members of our steering committee. We were able to discuss some of the hows and whys about regulatory compliance mechanisms and really start to prepare the way for revisiting the roadmap. We also reviewed our engagement, and I think our engagement has been very successful in the last year. We've had the 2 summits, of course. We've had 2 open houses, webinars freely available to get people involved. We've had the survey where we took the temperature of the attitude to open standards and the regulatory processes. And we've really pushed forward with chapter engagement, as you can see on our committee. And I should thank everyone in the existing committee, thank those who are now joining it, and I should thank Sheila Karalam for supporting us so well over the last year's activities. Our second session, we were reviewing progress on the Regulatory Information Requirements project that's being led by Tomi Hentunen. The aim of the project is to ensure that the buildingSMART IFC standard meets the common needs for building regulation. It's not that we're neglecting or not mindful of infrastructure, but the building regulation process is a more public and has more in commonalities around the world. So we introduced the project, explained its scope, and reported on progress. And it was a good opportunity for people to challenge us and to get involved. And we've had 1 or 2 people come forward interested in joining the 4 countries that are already committed. I think we also answered the big question, is that, of course, we're not trying to standardize the regulations. We're trying to standardize the information that's needed to answer questions about regulation. Our third session was an update on global activity. And on this occasion, we had presentations from Japan, from Portugal, and from Dubai. And we were able to place those 3 initiatives onto our maturity matrix. And it was interesting to see that all 3 projects are getting extremely close to our long-term ambition for automated code checking to be implemented in the public realm. And I think in some aspects, Dubai may even have achieved that. So again, very insightful presentations and a very good discussion afterwards, which was able to focus on technical issues, but also on questions of trust and belief and where that comes from and so on. So I think it's been a very successful summit. And thank you for your interest.
Rick, that's great. A very successful summit indeed. I would very much agree with that. Coming up next is Oliver Lebherz, who's representing the new Sustainability Energy Management Room. Hello, Oliver.
Hello, Richard. Hello together. thank you for the introduction and thank you for presentation here, our new sustainability and energy management room. Dan, do you share the slides here? Perfect. So first of all, thank you for the presentation here. Let me introduce myself. My name is Oliver Lebherz. I'm part of the new Sustainability and Energy Management Room. I'm from Siemens in Germany, and together with Schneider Electric, with Perttula, for example, we try to establish a new Sustainability and Energy Management Room. And that's why I can't present you today any results. We have established a new room 2 weeks ago. And that's why I try to summarize what the vision and the mission of the new room would be. So sorry for the casual presentation here. Yeah, we are new in the buildingSMART international community, and so I promise in the next summit we will present much more professional. So to come back to the slides, as mentioned, we have established the new Sustainability and Energy Management Room 2 weeks ago. And at the end, we would like to ask you, of course, to support our new room. But what is Sustainability and Energy Management Room meaning? Yeah, at the end, it's more or less the electrotechnical trade in a building. Yeah, so we try to push the electrotechnical trade in a building with a new Sustainability and Energy Management Room. Yeah, and this would have several aspects. Of course, we try to regard the power distribution system in a building and during different phases, during the planning phase, during the construction phase, and of course, especially also during the operative phase. And at the end, we want to have a digital twin of the power distribution system and to have the advantages of the BIM working method, and of course at the end to have also a simulation of the energy behavior and the energy power distribution system in a building. Yeah. I try to share now the next slide. Maybe okay. What are the challenges of the current stage of a current situation at the moment? Yeah, to be honest, the electrotechnical trade does not really work in BIM today. Yeah, that's what we try to change with our new activities in the buildingSMART activities and in the sustainability and energy management room. Yeah, but the challenge of today is, for example, that all the different sub trades in the electrotechnical trades do not really work together. So the electrical planner, also different roles need to support at the end some BIM objects to create at the end a digital twin. Yeah, and that's what we try to push with our new activities. And so in the future, we try to bring all the sub-trades together, the electrical planners, the panel builders, the installer, yeah, and at the end, of course, the building management system, yeah, and to drive all the advantages of the BIM working method also for the electrotechnical trade. And as mentioned, we try to regard not only the planning and design phase, but we also try and to push the advantages in the building phase, also in construction phase, but also, of course, at the end, the operative and the maintenance phase of a building, so that we can support also all these processes for the electrotechnical trade. The answer of our activities would be that we need to create the digital model of the electrical network. Yeah? We try to regard all the aspects which are necessary to have a digital twin of the power distribution system. Yeah? So we describe the network, we try to describe the power distribution systems, and the power distribution boards, the final distribution boards, the distribution boards, and also the busbar trunking systems. Yeah, and at the end, in the final circuit of a building, yeah, all the users are connected by the power supply, and that would be also a part of the electrotechnical trade, and also at the end the answer of the sustainability and energy management room. So we try to push the efficiency and the digital twin of the electrotechnical trade in a building. What should be delivered at the end of the sustainability and energy management room? Of course, we need at the end an IFC structure for the electrotechnical trade. Yeah, that's what we call a normalized electrical model. Yeah. The description of the normalized electrical model is more or less what I have already mentioned. Yeah, from the Winfried to the power distribution system to the power distributions boards and so on, up to the sockets maybe. Yeah, and that's what we are talking about, the digital twin of the power distribution system. But we not only regard the IFC structure, hopefully at the end, we try also to implement the simulation. Yeah, that we have at the end an efficient energy and power system in the building. And of course, at the end, that we also regard all the sustainability aspects which we need to have a sustainable building at the end. Yeah, and what we try to regard is what I have already explained. Yeah, we not to try to describe all the products, yeah, maybe the air circuit breakers and the circuit breakers and so on. No, we regard also the system. Yeah, that's what we call normalized electrical model. Yeah, and at the end we try to bring together all the different trades, also different trade roles in a building management system, but also especially during the planning phase, to the constructual phase, and at the end, of course, in the operative phase. And so we try to define an IFC structure for the new normalized electrical model. Yeah, with all the components and of course with all the functions. So that's a software which will use all these ideas. Yeah, can support our normalized electrical model. And that's what I can summarize at the end. That would be our activity to the sustainability and energy monitoring room. Yeah, and I hope to get support from your side for the BIM community. If you're interested, please support us so that we can push together the BIM working method and the IFC standard also for the electrotechnical trade. Yeah. So thank you very much. And if you have questions anyhow, please let me know, contact me. And yeah, also Perttula luck. Thank you for the presentation, and thank you for participation, and have a nice weekend.
Oliver, thank you very much for that very clear presentation and for being part of this new initiative. It's a big span of influence that the room is trying to address, but I'm particularly impressed with the way that you and our colleagues from Schneider Electric have already started breaking it down into compartmentalized chunks so that we feel we can manage the task ahead of us.
It's also a pleasure for me. Thank you.
Okay. Laura has put in the chat the details if anybody wishes to participate in the room. So get in touch with us at contact@buildingsmart.org. There we are. And we look forward to seeing what the room is going to develop by the time Montreal comes around. Yeah, looking forward to working with you, Oliver. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. So next up is Greg Schleusner, I think, isn't it, Aidan? Have we got one more?
We do, yeah.
Okay, all right. So recording from Greg, who's going to tell us about the technical room, and that's the last one of today before we wrap up.
Hi everyone, this is Greg Schleusner on behalf of the technical room. I'd like to thank everyone that took part in the virtual summit this week. Sessions we had this week were really focused around this challenge or project we have in front of us that the technical room is going to be taking on as we move forward. So beyond the tasks, we're focused on reviewing submissions and standards. We're really looking at this effort upcoming that's really focused on what the content of a next IFC should look like. So our week was something like this. We did have updates from ongoing work. That's the OpenCDE project. We got a great demo from that team. And on Monday, we also, Tuesday, had the IDS team give an overview of the current work and the upcoming work and ask for participation, and actually both projects asking for that. In session TR2 that was also on Tuesday, we introduced the topic and what we're looking to do and why we're looking to focus on the future of IFC development. I'll talk a little bit about that in the future. In TR3 on Wednesday, we had a couple speakers, one from Bentley Systems, one from Epic Games, talking about the different application and use of technologies based on sort of the specific needs that they're trying to solve for. This is a big focus of how we'll go about understanding what a next version of IFC should do, is really focusing on functional requirements versus looking at technologies specifically for the sake of technologies. And then finally, on Thursday, so TR4, we had a session that just talked about the next steps, which involve having monthly meetings and bringing together different speakers to talk about similar things, capture requirements. So I mentioned this in the intro. Really, the fundamental reason we're looking at this future version of IFC is there's a great amount of work that's already been done that we're going to build on, but the use cases of IFC are growing. There's more and more being asked all the time for IFC to address. There's some mismatch in the technical capabilities of what is the sort of standard one-step physical file per authoring tool, and that mismatch is where a lot of the need is coming from. There certainly are great use cases for that, but there's also different use cases that we need to support. And broadly speaking, we just have more customers with more needs. So broadly thinking about this from a design construction side, that looks a lot different from operation and maintenance, and even from a software development standpoint. So that's the sort of primary focus of the week. But again, we had great presentations in the opening session on OpenCDE and IDS efforts. So our next efforts within the technical room are to establish a sort of beat of monthly meetings to start to tackle this next IFC program. We'll still have our same sort of leadership structure in the room itself, but these meetings and this effort will be sort of brought together in an ad hoc manner based on interest and expertise and requirements versus a particular standing group. So I thank all of you that attended our sessions this week. If you couldn't make them all, please feel free to watch the recordings and reach out to us if you have questions. We're available on the forum. Technical@buildingsmart.com is how your buildingsmart.org, is how you'd be able to reach out to our room leadership. And I again thank you and have a great day. Cheers.
Cheers, Greg. And that emphasis on the customer again was coming through. So that's it from the room leaders. I just want to give a quick shout out to the Standards Committee Forum, which is going to take place in just less than an hour's time. We've not done a Standards Committee Forum for a little while, so this is going to dig into the buildingSMART process some more. It's aimed at the members of the Standards Committee, the people from our community that vote on the activities that go through the process. So you're all welcome. And if Aidan's there, hi.
Hi, Richard. Well done.
Thank you. And well, actually, it was you and Dan I wanted to say well done to. There he is. Thank you very much for putting on yet another great virtual summit. 5th one. They're getting better and better. I felt this one's been really sort of friendly and free-flowing, and it had some really good content as well. But that requires you and Dan to do a lot of work behind the scenes in the preparation of these things. And you know, Dan, in particular, the attention to detail that you've given to the room leaders and the presenters has been fantastic. So thank you very much. Thank you both very much.
Thank you, Richard. Yeah, well, practice makes perfect. This is our 5th one, as we said. So yeah, I would like to thank everybody, really. I think first and foremost, thank you to everyone that's attended and taken part in this week. We've seen other similar strong engagement levels from the community, and this continues to go. And yeah, thank you very much to our speakers as well for all the commitment that they've done towards this fantastic community that we see, and you know, to all the engagement that we've seen as well, which has been fantastic. So yeah, this is, again, we've just completed our 5th virtual summit. It does feel like we're all very due a meeting in a physical format, and we're pleased to be able to share some of that. So yeah, thank you all very much. I think first and foremost, I'd like to thank the team. Claire's been fantastic support and continues to support the program. We obviously always have to you know, balance the books and these sorts of things, but we've tried to make this one as affordable as we can. We still didn't even quite break even on all the technology, but I think it was great to have something more open for people and more accessible. So I think that's been great. So thank you, Claire. Thanks to our room coordinators, Sheila, John, Laura, and Jeffrey. I think you've all become quite acquainted to these individuals throughout, and they've done a fantastic job continuing to bring this to you. Thanks to Susan on the program. So please start thinking about your awards for 2022. We have our brochure available, so you can see that the sort of type of submissions that we look for, and the use of OpenBIM in those programs themselves. And finally, we invited Dan up, who you've all probably seen or spoken to at some point during this event. So Dan, thank you very much. You know, as Richard said, you've done a great job here again, delivering. Is this your 3rd virtual summit that you've delivered, or 4th? 4th.
Third.
4th, I think.
4th, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. There you go. So time goes when you're having fun. So thank you, Dan. And I think it does get easier, but again, I think moving forward, it's more about the sort of hybrid approach that we hope to have. Yeah. I mean, Dan, I think any comments before you do some analysis on the final numbers?
Yeah, well, I was about to give some statistics, and then I couldn't even remember how many, whether it was 3 or 4 summits I've done. But yeah, I have in the last couple of hours been able to pull together what you're seeing in the slide now. Some early numbers. We do like to just give some feedback and some statistics. So we've had 55 countries in attendance during the week. Really testament to how broad the community is and spreading all around the world. The top 5 countries for attendance, we do see some similarities from time to time, but Switzerland are at the top again this time. They were at the top in March last year, but of course that summit was hosted in conjunction with the Swiss chapter. Then Germany, Japan, and China, who seem to feature every time, and the UK. So we do have strong support from the chapters, especially the ones that you're seeing on the screen, those 5 top countries. We're really thankful for the support that we get from the chapters. And it's great to have so many of you joining from those countries. So all in all, we had 833 registrations, which is slightly up on the last summit. I would say that the registrations came in slower this time, but then there was a big jump the week before, and still people registering even on the morning of the start of the summit on Monday. So 833 is where we've ended up. Over the course of the week, we've had 35 sessions, slightly less than before, but obviously in the past we've spread over 2 weeks. That has been comprised of 94 presentations that were delivered by 103 speakers. As I said, we've just been over a week this time. We felt it's worked very well. Moving on to a few other statistics at the bottom there, there's been 658 chat messages. The replay area in the event is clearly being used well. There's been over 1,100 viewings already in the replay area. So I guess that just shows how useful it is for people around the world. If they're not able to attend at the time, you can go back and do that anytime. I am pleased to say that all of the recordings are already available in the replay. Every session that's been held this week, you can now watch it back. And those recordings will be available. You can still log into the platform and watch them at your leisure for the next 6 weeks. Around that time, we will make the videos available publicly on our website, as we always do. But until then, please feel free to continue using this platform. Presentations, the slides that have been delivered is a common request. So we're going to try and get a folder together, and we'll email all of the attendees next week so that you can access those in advance. And then the final statistic there is that you may have seen a request to rate the event, and there's been 90 votes so far, and we've been awarded an average 8.6 out of 10. So I'm glad to see that those that are attending are finding it of value, and we do try and improve every time. And we've got a new platform. This is the second time, obviously, we used it, but we do find this platform gives more control. There's a lot more interaction, and glad to see that that's coming across well. And that's it from me, I think.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. And it's actually the third platform we've used over 5 summits. So, and one that we've used twice in a row. So certainly don't rest on our laurels and try to provide the best experience for everyone that we can. So yeah, thanks again, Dan. As we have mentioned, I'd like to just get everyone's attention to the first event that we hope to put on as a summit post-COVID. So this would be in Montreal in 18th to the 21st of October. And we do hope you can join us there. I certainly think many people that have been to our physical events can attest to the fact that there's a lot more to it than just meetings, rooms, and presentations. So a lot of value in our network is done through the community and how we collaborate physically. So I do hope you can make it there. We'll also be providing sponsorship opportunities for people or organizations. We've had quite a few requests already around that, but yeah, of course there is sponsorship opportunities to get your business back out there and in front of our community. So looking forward to having you there. We're looking forward to being there, and certainly hope you can join us. And what's next, really? Well, Dan's talked about the on-demand materials. We always publish this information online and make it available to you. But of course, within the platform, there's the replay function if you need to catch up with any session. So please do use that. We'll be publishing our agenda next week for the user conference, which is in about a month's time. So this is really an extension to what we've done here, which is presenting the work and the programs. But what we're trying to do is make the outputs usable for end users. So the user conference is different, and this will be completely free and open for people to join. We won't be on this platform because we do get charged per registration on this. We're just going to use Zoom meetings for this, but we do hope you can join us for the user conference at the end of the month. For many of you, we do have our International Council, which is for our chapters, our members, and our board, and we actually have a physical event there. And thank you to Siemens for hosting us at their offices in Zug in Switzerland. This is 27th to 29th of June. And for those that it's relevant for, we do hope we can see you there. Of course, we have our awards program available, so please do start thinking about your submissions for that. That's fantastic. And of course, I mentioned Montreal as well. So we have a little lineup of things next for you to be aware of. And finally, I thought I'd go back to Richard Petrie's slide when he talked about getting closer to users. And I hope this has come across in this virtual summit, that we've actually tried to really connect the value from clients and stakeholders right through from projects to using these standards and services in real life. So we know we've got more to do to support that program. We know that we've got to support the uptake of user guides and certification and accreditation. But we've really started on this journey, and along with the technical roadmap and the growing number of rooms and the growing number of stakeholders and the number of people that contribute to this, that we're in a very good place to do that. So I think this is really the year of the user program, and we really hope that, you know, we can get more contributions to make that successful as well, because ultimately we're all nothing with every one of us. So it's great being part of a community in that way, in that we know that there's a lot of contribution and work in kind and sponsorship and membership, which we do require. So I think with that, we'd like to conclude the 5th virtual summit for 2022. We do look forward to seeing you future events, and do keep your eye out for future things with buildingSMART. And yeah, please pencil in the October summit in your diaries if you can make it. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to you as attendees, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon. Thank you very much.